Our Space Gallery. I'm Anthea, and together with Robert, we're very excited. We're really, really excited today, because not only have you all come as far as New Zealand, some folk, as far as Dundrum, as far as outside Strangford, as far as Hollywood and Carryduff and Killyleagh. But you're more than welcome to Our Space, those of you that are here for the first time. And our friends on Zoom, we have our artist Neil here. I'd like to introduce Neil Foster, together with, who you'll meet shortly, Nelson Santoni from Paris. He's in Marseille, but comme ci, comme ça. And then Meg Earls in London. And Meg's mum here, Anne is here, so we're delighted to have you all. We're particularly pleased that this exhibition, which is funded by the Arts Council, and we're eternally grateful for that support, can celebrate the Wallace legacy, which is a bit of a passion of mine. It's 20 years since I did a Master's in Cultural Management on the legacy of Sir Richard Wallace, and for those of you from other parts of the world, he was a very wealthy art collector, and we have the story of Richard Wallace in Lisburn, and this is what this exhibition is about. So what you see here today is 5 years worth of other artists who've contributed, and we'd be delighted if you'd purchase something and or recommend somebody else to purchase it, perhaps. Feel free to chat to me about any of the artists. There's Alison Lowry, Vincent MacDonald, Robert Peters, and Matthew Henry from last year, and now this year Neil, Nelson and Meg. So I have just a little bit of housekeeping. We've got any stools if you want to sit down. Please recharge your own glasses outside. And if Neil, would you excuse me, but I've got a special glass of bubbly behind you, and I'm just going to go and lift it up. And this special glass of bubbly comes with its own story. So, Paul Roger, there we go, Nelson. Paul Roger, I'll save your glass. Come on in, Aaron. And the story is that Richard Wallace's son Edmund had children of his own, and one of those grandchildren married into the Paul Roger Champagne House in France. It gets better. Cheers. So, before we go any further, the screening of the new animation, which we're delighted with. I'm so looking forward to seeing your response. Neil Foster and I are going to have a wee chat, and then I'll be delighted to introduce Nelson and Meg, and maybe with Zara's help we can eliminate the other voices and creative artists in this project. Looking forward a little bit, we hope that this animation, Oh Lo Lo, will travel the world, and indeed we hope to screen it in Paris in September at the 150th anniversary of the first Wallace fountains to be erected in 1872. So that's in association with the Society of Wallace Fountains, and there's a website if you're interested, you can have a look at that. So Barbara, who's headed that up, she's from Arizona, oddly, and is in Paris, and we'll meet Nelson mid-month for the first time. And we've got some books for sale on the not-for-sale shelf behind Neil there. If you're interested in the history of all the Paris fountains, they're £10 each, those books, so feel free to talk to me about that. So Neil, would you like to join me in the corner here? Bring a glass if you wish. Can everybody see okay? And we're, oddly enough, we're neighbours in Killyleagh, which is wonderful. We travelled up together today, and Neil was sharing a little bit about the process of working with Nelson and Meg. So Neil, tell us what was one or two ideas you started off with in your process.
Yeah, well, we started by, I think we had a chat, the three of us had a chat together on Zoom last September, and that was the first time the three of us had met. So we just started really by talking through the story and talking about what themes came up for us, and it's just really interesting to talk about the themes to do with water, things to do with fountains and flow, and what those mean sort of universally beyond the story really. And then also to think about contemporary events and the world now, and how precious water is, and many people don't have access to clean water. And to sort of place the story in the present and start from there really. So that was a starting point for us, a sort of central point from which we thought we're translating those ideas of flow anyway, and starting from there.
Yes.
And before going deeper into the...
So you had that universality of water and the need for fresh water, and maybe folk that are from here. Now, there are two fountains if you have time today. One is in the Castle Gardens right next door. Please go and have a look. So then as the work collaboration carried on, tell us a little bit about how you worked with Nelson specifically, because he's a composer in Paris and you'd never met him, or maybe...
Yeah, we had some technical things to kind of surmount, and I was less au fait with working in that way with another composer remotely. So Nelson really helped me with, and the technology afforded us the ability to mix live in real time, to mix the music down. But at the very beginning we started by, I think, just sharing sketches, all three of us, just coming up with sketched responses to what we were feeling about the story, and just reflecting on it, coming up with musical themes. Nelson came up with the main theme for the opening of the piece, which is a really good starting point. And Meg and I got together and had a kind of sketchy jam as well. Just throwing ideas and playing, really, just playing with it and seeing where that took us, really. So it's a lot of space at the beginning just to really explore, and then sharing musical sketches and ideas and starting to think about a narrative. Where do we get to from kind of the young Wallace, aged 7 in Paris for the first time, the art collecting side of things, and then the siege of Paris and war breaking out just after he comes into this inheritance, right? Almost at the same time. And then sort of planning that narrative through beginnings, journeying, setting out through the war, and then that kind of transformative moment that we sort of found in the piece, whereby this vision of the fountains and turning war and destruction into something else, something other, something into growth and building, that's the pivotal moment.
There was a moment in the art statement that Nelson and Neil wrote together with Meg about we can all be fountains, and the metaphor being that we can all share something positive and life-giving to others, especially those in need, but more critical time in the days we're living in now. I'd like to pass on now to, if you had a question for Nelson, Neil, what would that question be?
I'd be interested to know what, Nelson, your process from the beginning, or your reflections on how we started and how we managed to get things moving. How did it feel from your
Feel free to move around if you wish.
Side of things?
It was very, I think we have both very different way of writing music, so it was very interesting to mix that and to have this meeting between together, like mixing our universes and the way we work and the way we think of music. And it was very great to share this and with the idea of the flow of ideas and the flow of doing things together. It what makes things going better, I think. So maybe we did together with Megan and you what we as Anthea said, we can all be fountains, and maybe we're 3 little fountains building a bigger one together with our different universes. So that was very great to share and not be on our own and discover things we could never discover on our own, and we need to discover it together.
Definitely.
Thanks,
We'll get to that.
Thanks, Nelson.
Thank you.
Thank you. We can move on to Meg and welcome everybody. So Meg, I know you can't see me, but can you hear me okay? Yeah. So you're in London. She's on the National Film and Television School, and this is the first major collaboration with Meg and Laura Space. So we would love to know how many late nights did you have, Meg?
every night till late at night. Always. Yeah, I had a couple, but that's just kind of, I think a lot of the things I've been learning since I've started just at the school are that you kind of have to pay attention to whenever you like to work. And apparently my body really likes to work between the hours of 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. So that's just how it is.
We'll bear that in mind. We know there's family here for you today and there's other visitors. So just a quick synopsis then of your process, Meg, and how you find working with Nelson and Neil.
Yeah, so like Neil was describing, lots of kind of sketches at the beginning and suggesting of ideas and kind of getting opinions from each other. And that's kind of quite important. And kind of just going through everything and then having it laid out before you. And then once you have that there, kind of taking bits and moving them about and seeing where they work. Kind of like a collage, but obviously with music and animation. So it's very much a process of, like Neil described it. It all begins with sort of just being interested in things and then picking out the kind of gold dust. But process-wise, so there's the sketches. And then after we arrived at the story structure, and you kind of know that there's going to be this kind of whimsical, magical bit at the beginning. And then there's going to be a bit of a mood change, which is the kind of bit with the war. And then it's gonna build and it's gonna build up and it's gonna arrive at this kind of wonderful, inspiring conclusion. So a lot of talking in moods and feelings more than anything else. And so once that structure has been laid down, I would give over the storyboards and everyone has a look at them and go, oh yeah, that's really nice, great. How does that work? Like, how is that a film? So after that, then you put it on a timeline and time it and kind of just roughly trying to understand where these kind of beats in the story are. And then I hand that over to Neil and Nelson and they come up with ideas and put the music down over the top. They send it back and we kind of go to and fro in that way where we're all kind of adding things and always kind of being in touch and giving feedback on what works and what doesn't. So it's very collaborative. It's very yeah, three little fountains make one big fountain. That's what it is. And then yeah, lots of drawing, lots of all that. Well, from my perspective anyway, lots of drawing, lots of colouring, everything. Hopefully that gives you a kind of idea.
I'm going to screen low now so you can relax and we'll turn the laptop to face the wall, I think. So, and